want a car. Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talon Mix, and welcome to part 2 of our Dark Knight Rises discussion. If you haven't listened to the first half, what are you doing? Go back and listen to that one. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Hey, unrelated, we are finally posting these on YouTube. The entire backlog is up there now. It's nothing fancy. There's no additional video or anything. But if you want to comment on something specifically from this episode, that's a good place to do that. So you can find a link in the description to our page, which you could also subscribe to if you're inclined. You can also search Talon Mix Podcast on YouTube. Whatever, it's YouTube. I don't have to tell you how to use it. Without further ado, enjoy the rest of our Dark Knight Rises discussion, and we will see you next week.
Age has cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you. Good.
It's so.
I mean, Bane is a
fucking-
wrestler. They could put Bane in the WWE tomorrow, and he would be a huge hit character. Right?
Not tomorrow.
Right?
It's filled up. It's busy. It's too busy. We've had a lot of issues with that.
I don't care. If Bane walked in tomorrow, people would be stoked.
If the comic book character Bane stepped into a WWE ring, it's like you're getting a main event of WrestleMania. Fuck you, Cody Rhodes and The Rock.
What would Bane's intro music be?
I mean, just the it's
Oh yeah.
That's how The Rock survives. He's getting his ass kicked, and then Bane comes in to help him out.
That's it.
Bane's going for the chair.
God, I just want to talk about fucking wrestling. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. Let's talk about wrestling, guys. I was telling my brother off mic, I'm very into WWE 2K24, the video game right now, which, make no mistake, is just digital action figures. Go ahead and make them fight. and you run your little shows and you book your little shows and make your little stories happen. And I asked my wife, would she ever have sex with me again if I had a notebook that I was keeping track of all my little stories in my little video game. To which she was like, I can't say anything. She had downloaded a spreadsheet to help her 100% complete Skyrim. So we are at a sex stalemate for the time being.
That Dan Soder tells the joke where he started smoking when he was 11 years old, but played with his WWE action figures till he was 15.
Just tell the rest of the joke. It's great.
Yeah, so he goes, so I'm in the middle of my living room just battling with my action figures. He goes, I go outside, have a soft pack of Marlboro Reds. He goes, just smoking a cigarette on the side of the house going, so I'm thinking about Tatanka for the IC. Just dream matching, just dreamcasting. It's so funny.
Guys, wrestling's good. I'm gonna get you all into it. It's real good. So Bane beats the shit out of Batman. Batman gets his first big ass loss in the trilogy. The closest I guess we've seen is his girlfriend being blown up and his parents being killed and Scarecrow gassing him with the poison. So Bane then takes Bruce to an ancient underground prison in the Middle East, where Bruce learns in what? Where?
With TV. Sorry, I just added with TV.
With of course, the TV. Of course. Come on. They're not barbarians. Bruce learns that Ra's al Ghul's child was born and raised in the prison, but had a protector that aided the child in escaping, thought to be impossible. That's the thing. There are stone little steps that lead up the pit. And it was like, so you can try escaping, but you won't. And we do see a clip of a guy like almost making it. And he has a rope tied around his waist, and the rope didn't seem to do much.
No, which is like, it's the perfect comic booky idea that works great for this big moment and themes. But again, if this is one where if you pull back, you're like, they could have figured out a way out of that fucking place with the rope and like all the shit they had.
Right. It is. Zach, we texted about this a little bit, where the perception of these movies got significantly hurt by everyone. Like, they're Christopher Nolan movies. They're very serious adult dramas, actually. They're crime thrillers that just happen to have It's a fucking comic. It's a fucking Batman movie. And this is no different than the other Batman movies. Sorry.
No.
Everything has a little more of like, we got this from the Iraq War.
Right.
This is a perfectly fucking good comic book. Like, also, sorry, dorks, this is the type of storytelling comics has. Like, this absolutely comes straight out of a comic book.
Yes. It's I mean, all the Nolan ones are, but this is the most comic booky of his movies, I think.
Yes.
And that's great. That's what I want. I'm watching a comic book movie. I want comic book logic. It's very broad. Everything is very broad.
It's okay. Your dad's not going to like it anyway.
Here's comic books. I'm going to get shit for this, I'm sure. But they're meant for a certain age group.
Yes.
And because of that, they sort of touch on concepts and ideas, but it's usually pretty surface level. They don't go super deep because they're just introducing.
I'm to articulate the same point. Yeah,
they're just introducing young people to these concepts. So these movies are sprinkled with these kind of adult, surface level things. But once you go past that, there's not much there.
No, and there doesn't have to be. It's just spectacle and like
yes.
And just
now let me say, when I say comics, I mean superhero comics. That's what I'm.
And I think also there's this conversation. I don't love the term graphic novel. Watchmen, the graphic novel of like the idea of a comic book, and like it's not inherently garbage, worthless trash. It is an art form and in a storytelling form, and that is not inherently good or bad. It is a valid art form. That does not mean that a lot of superhero comics are just cheap ass printed dumb stories meant to be sold in a grocery store. Yes, you can tell beautiful stories in a comic. Okay, great. And some superhero stories are really fucking good. There's just really good writing. That doesn't mean inherently a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog comic you get at the grocery store is a graphic novel. It's okay for it to just be a comic book sometimes. You know?
Right.
It's okay to just be a funny book.
I want to clarify. I'm not the medium as a whole could be for adults. It could be for any age, and some superhero stuff is for adults, and that's great. But in general, the superhero comic format is pitched at a certain age group, or was, or has been traditionally. Right. And I think these movies by Christopher Nolan perfectly represent that.
It's everything I'm about to say is true of Batman as well, but I'm a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those are like, what's your favorite superhero? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And there is I'm semi-active on the TMNT subreddit, which I'm in the old guy thing of like, someone's like, look at this fucking old ass toy. I'm like, hell yeah, that's a cool toy. But there is and I understand this desire for the thing you like to be taken seriously. I understand. You want it to not be seen as ridiculous and a pointless waste of time. anything you like, guess what? Probably has some value. It does, and you can just be like, But that sometimes turns into a contingent of people just being like, we need a real hard R Ninja Turtles movie, and like, no, this is for 6-year-olds.
No, it's about mutant teenagers,
right? It's like
who are turtles.
No, any Ninja Turtles movie should inherit their primary audience should be 10-year-old boys. To be clear, that should be the primary audience. And then, the latest one, Mutant Mayhem, great. It's a very good movie. Fingers crossed for that, where just like it's good for everybody. There's jokes in there for everybody. Great. Relax. Batman is that's where the Zack Snyder stuff really bothers me. And like, we have an R-rated cut. It's like, it's fucking Batman, guys.
Yeah, fuck off. The difference between Nolan's Batman movies and the Batman movies that came before is that the boys watching them think that they're for adults.
Right.
And but that doesn't mean they are.
Right. It's, the ideal Batman movie, and I'm gendering this specifically just coming from my experience here. This is, of course, this is much broader, but I think the ideal Batman movie is a father and a son can go see it and both have a good time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When I say it's not for adults, I don't mean adults can't enjoy it. I mean
Batman the Animated Series, Mask of the Phantasm,
in a Star Wars way, where it's like, as an adult, I go see this movie because it makes me feel like a kid again.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And there's value in that.
I saw Dark Knight with my mom one of the 100 times I saw it. And there's the bit that the big set piece with the truck flipping, and Batman has the bat pod and he rides up the wall and it flips around and like it goes around. And my mom specifically called out that scene as like, I just felt like I was 10 years old. Like,
yeah, totally.
Just like, it's fucking good as shit. And like, I have no worries in the world other than is fucking Batman go punch that guy real good.
Right. Look at that truck flip.
Yes!
Look at that truck flip.
My buddy Batman did that.
That's my friend. That's my friend.
And bonus points if you can do it without making me feel stupid, because this can be done poorly, as we'll see next week. So saying it's made for younger men or whatever is not an insult to the movie, because it's still really fucking hard to make a movie this good. It's just
right.
We see it done bad all the time.
Right. I think to a point here, I like, Pat, I don't know if you saw it, The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one. Zach, I think I liked it a lot more than you. I didn't love it. I just had a good time with it, watching it on my couch during the pandemic when we weren't getting a lot of new content. I don't know how I would reevaluate it now. But that movie's a hard R. Hard R. A lot of F-bombs, a lot of violence. That is a movie for 12-year-olds. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
12-year-olds. Yep.
That is, and that's okay. I in fact like that about the movie. But that is a movie that exists in the margins of notebook paper. And like the shark guy eats the guy and like there's blood everywhere. And that's not for adults, No.
No.
It's the 12-year-old that read it, grew up.
Yes.
And now is watching it and can handle some of those.
Right. This is a much larger conversation, but the adult drama that gets released in theaters is dead. It doesn't happen anyway. It used to just be there were these $30 million movies that adults would be like, let's go to the movies. And they'd see Tom Cruise be like, I'm gonna do a good job in court.
I'm a lawyer.
I can handle the truth. I can. And It's funny how a Patrick Willems video pointed this out, but it's funny how everything divides into like there's movies for the people with superheroes, and that's the shit people want to see. A Star Wars and laser guns, pew pew. That's the good shit. And then there's boring, artsy homework movies that are boring and bad, and who wants to see those because they get Oscars. 1988, the top grossing movie that everyone saw was Rain Man's. Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman. That was the top box office earner that year. Everyone loved it. You know what won all the fucking Oscars that year? Rain Man.
Yeah.
Everyone just went to see a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't really happen anymore.
I also hate it's just movies for the people as an excuse for why your superhero movie sucks.
Zach, your movie just sucked.
Yeah, which we'll get into next week again.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we don't care about what the critics think. This is for the people. Yeah, well, the people weren't too happy either. Speaking for as a person.
No one who got great reviews is like, we don't care about the critics.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't get me wrong, Rotten Tomatoes is not a great metric of, because that's a binary, like liked it, didn't like it, which isn't a great metric for talking about art. You gotta actually like find critics you like, read reviews who are usually much more nuanced in that. That said, there's a difference between like a divisive 50s, 60s.
Right, like
where
22.
A Zack Snyder 22.
Yeah.
We're just like, this was bad and long. All
Again,
right.
Pat, I can't tell you how lucky you are that you don't have to sit through this movie.
I'm feeling it.
Okay. So imagine the conversation you just were party to, but it's Batman. And he's doing that instead of punching people. So Bruce is in the prison. Can't escape the prison. You got to sit down here and watch GCN. Back in Gotham, Kyle is arrested by Blake during an attempt to flee the country before Bane traps the police forces in the sewers, destroys all but one bridge surrounding the city, kills Mayor Garcia.
Single cop in the sewers.
Every single cop into
Jim
the
Gordon,
sewers.
Bad at
Jim?
his job.
No off-duty cops. Everyone.
No, he
Every
says.
cop.
I think he says the line "off duty, everyone, call them all in." Something to that effect.
So there's no one like doing paperwork.
No secretaries. Send the secretaries down there. How big is the sewer? I mean, 40 guys would have been a good amount to start with.
You think, and they all made it into where the explosion happened, where they all got stuck down there? There weren't anyone on the other side of it? Like,
Pat, let's talk about this football game.
Yeah.
A lot of empty seats at Gotham Stadium.
A lot of empty seats.
The Rogues not pulling in a huge fan base.
Not great. And actually used NFL players. There were real NFL players.
Roethlisberger
on this. Roethlisberger's in it. Hines Ward is the guy who returns the kickoff for a touchdown. So they used actually guys. So
do you guys know anything? Or are they like Batman fans, or was it just guys who were available?
They were guys on the Pittsburgh Steelers. You mentioned they did it in Pittsburgh. They have the black and yellow color scheme anyways for the stadium and all that stuff. So
yeah.
Probably just.
By the way, that touchdown, huge asterisks on that touchdown. Okay.
That counts, right? That counts.
I think they do the replay on that one. I don't know if they can.
The new Rapid City coaches challenging that sucker.
It's like, throwing the red flag. that is probably the worst effect, I think, in all three of these movies. That field blowing up. It's the most Marvel-y.
It didn't bother me on my TV.
It's just very I mean, it's not bad. It's just way more CG than they usually do in these movies.
Yes.
It's very Marvel. It's very Marvel.
Yes. So I'm just looking at what my notes are here. Yeah, okay, I have all the cops. That's very silly. Blowing the bridges, leaving Gotham to kind of descend into anarchy. That is very reminiscent of the No Man's Land storyline from the Batman comics. I have not read any of the comics from that era, but I did in Vancouver. Zach, while we were in college together, read there is a novelization of that storyline by Greg Rucka that our friend Tommy Tayet gave to me. Is like, you need to read this, and it is apparently like the crown jewel of Batman novelization. It's like the Batman novelization that's good. It's the one in all of in any book. I did. I inhaled it. And as I was thinking about it, rewatching this movie, and I'm like, I wonder if that was actually good. And the general perception of that book is like, that's a good book about Batman.
Oh, cool. In the comics, No Man's Land is an earthquake takes out all the bridges, and so Gotham is like cut off, right, Brian? And then all the villains kind of take over.
America just kind of gives up on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, you know what? Maybe we don't need a Gotham City.
Maybe we don't just need shitty Crime City. To be fair, Lex Luthor is president.
Okay.
Also, but Superman, why doesn't Superman get off his ass and help out? He can have that city rebuilt in no time.
It's the inherent shared universe problem, right? Of like, any Marvel movie is like, was Hulk not available?
Yeah.
That's what I like, Christopher Nolan, and we didn't know at the time. Like I said, we in our Superman Returns episode, we had talked about how like the crossover was going to happen because we wanted that so bad at the time. Little did we know, God, we desperately want it to go away now. We get it. Please stop. But it's nice that Nolan is like, no other superheroes exist in this universe. Right. It's just Batman. Right. And Nolan has actually kind of made sense of like, it doesn't work in the same way if Superman's out there somewhere. This needs to be his idea of something fucking nuts that I can do.
Right.
It doesn't work if there's just other superheroes around.
And there's nothing supernatural in these movies. It's all people. Right. Everybody's a person, there's nobody flying, anything like that. Right. But with the bridges blowing out, there's no Gotham International Airport. Like, it's got like a major city.
Major airport in and out of this major city of Gotham.
We got nothing.
No, just not in the downtown area.
There's not like
it's out in the burbs. Yeah.
Batman has like 50 helicopters. Like, why don't you open up that service, bud? No, only for me.
Oh, it's like Wayne Manor. Can we use the Wayne Manor helipads to get ground troops into Gotham? I don't know.
I also love part of their master plan was, okay, eventually they're going to send every single cop in the city down there, and we will trap them inside. That was a part of their calculation.
Yeah, right.
To be fair, talk to Jim Gordon for 2 fucking minutes, and he's like, did that come about after they sent every cop after Batman? Like, oh, they have one move.
Yeah.
They have one play.
Or was Bane like, okay, we'll probably trap 70, 80 cops. That'll help us. And then they're like, oh my God, they're sending all of them down there? All 3,000? Fuck, yes. They're so stupid. Oh my God.
It's like it took me a long time to learn on the stove, on a traditional stove. There's various heat settings for maybe you're making something a little more delicate, so you might put it on medium, or maybe something needs to be a little lower, so you can adjust the flame settings on your grill, on your stove. for the longest time, I was just boom,
yeah.
on, off, baby. There's on, there's off.
Yeah.
This will get it done quicker. Quicker is better.
Zach, not even quicker. Just why would less fire be? No, just turn the thing on.
Hot, not hot. What else do we need?
Fire, no fire. High, whatever. I was 25 before I was like, huh, these other settings are pretty good, huh? How about that? Medium, huh?
All right.
These numbers must mean something.
So let's see. The mayor is killed. Anthony Garcia. Pavel is forced to convert a fusion reactor core into a decaying neutron bomb, and then Bane kills him as well. That definitely makes sense. Bane then explodes. It does.
He's the only one who could turn it off.
Right, of course. It is a great scene. Pat, would you describe that scene for me? It's real good.
I mean, he took the referees.
The money shot, the money bit, yeah.
You talk about when they zoom all the way out when he breaks his neck.
I just mean like Bane, specifically calls out to the audience of just like, and who can stop this bomb?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Only me.
It's good.
To the horror of.
This is a James Bond movie through. Once again, if this movie starred James Bond, no one would have any of these fucking issues. They'd be like, it's a James Bond movie. Guys, it's a Batman movie.
Right.
Once again, I know there's a lot of like Iraq war imagery, or like the extra Batmobiles are in like desert camo. That doesn't mean this is a serious movie.
And the identity of the Trigger Man.
So Bane also reveals Dent was a murderer. All right, he reads Gordon's speech. How did he get it? Who knows?
Oh no, he got it off of him because he remember he went in the sewers and he pulled the note off.
Right. I also just love the idea in our this movie's from 2012. In the political climate of 2024, can you imagine 8 years ago a politician kind of sucked? I don't even fucking remember that guy. You ever watch an SNL from 8 years ago? Just like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah. Also,
who the fuck was Harvey Dent?
Also, people go ahead.
People would probably be like, this wrestler man who took over the city says he has a speech that someone wrote. That's not exactly evidence. Okay, wrestler man. I believe you.
I have another speech from the Batman.
And this is a speech from Bugs Bunny.
It's okay to blow up the city.
Bugs Bunny likes me. Why does Blake get all shocked and offended when Bane reads this speech out loud? He knew this, didn't he? He knew Batman was good already.
Right.
Great point.
Right.
That is a great point.
Or did he think Batman was a killer and he was like, I'm still down with him.
I'm still down. It's not a deal breaker.
No.
He was an orphan too.
Yeah. He proved orphans can get away with murder. I liked it. Okay. So he also releases the prisoners of Blackgate Penitentiary, takes over the city, and has Gotham's elite exiled and killed in a proletarian kangaroo court presided over by Jonathan Crane.
Yeah, Oscar winner.
Oscar
Cillian
winner
Murphy.
Cillian Murphy playing the Scarecrow again. I remember my midnight showing theater, delighted to see Cillian Murphy again.
Yes.
I do, and now Cillian Murphy, of course, a consistent collaborator with Christopher Nolan, just getting an Oscar for Best Actor in Oppenheimer. He was one of Christopher Nolan's top choices for Batman. And I do wonder, like, I think he was like Christopher Nolan's pick.
Wow.
And I wonder how that would have changed things. How that would have changed. Like, would he have ever gotten Best Actor for Oppenheimer?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
He would be jacked still from being, he would have had to put on a substantial amount of weight to play Batman.
He's a tiny, frail man. But I also, and this can't be true.
Can you imagine what a ego gut punch that is? It's like, yeah, I came in for Batman and they offered me the Scarecrow. The guy who's so thin, they call him Scarecrow.
But that's gonna like super come up in the movie that I'm the Scarecrow, right?
So
it doesn't.
So the this can't be was supposed to, because Heath Ledger had died, before Dark Knight had even come out. So like there's no universe where this was being planned. Boy, howdy, could you imagine the Joker in a like imagine if they cut to and the Joker was running this silly exile or death court. And it does make me laugh, because imagine Gotham falling into pure anarchy and the Joker being like, oh, actually, I'm pro order now.
So, you know what? Honestly, if the Joker was around, he would be all about fucking Bane's plans up too. He's like, you don't get plans either.
Right.
No.
There would be a funny opportunity, and this is all, of course, speculation of. I think this movie would be completely different if Heath Ledger was still alive, but a potential weird Hannibal Lecter-y partnership between Batman and the Joker would have been a fun opportunity to play with there. I can't fuck shit up if he's gonna blow it all up.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you do with my friend Batman? I need him back so I can fuck with him.
Right. That's the little kangaroo court that the Scarecrow is running here. It's basically some of the other the mobster characters from earlier. It's met with exile or death. And it's revealed that exile is they walk them across they're sent out to walk the frozen river, falling in almost immediately as that Hans Zimmer dun-dun, hits.
And the henchman seems kind of just sad about the guy falling in. He's like,
right.
Damn.
This also comes up. Gordon and his gang of like we're gonna save the city crew are also eventually put in front of Scarecrow, which is a very funny scene. Of it's like we're not walking out over that lake willingly. It was like death then. By exile. And it's really good. It's really funny.
That was a lot of problems. You just shot him.
Yeah.
That was literally a day's work. That was an afternoon for Cillian Murphy in this movie.
I think it's fun that he's in all three, though. I also just love actor director buds. Yeah. I have some additional notes here from this area in the movie. That's not interesting. And okay, so there's a ticking clock here that the bomb is going to go off. It starts with like a handful of days, and then we hit like 12 hours. So there's a storyline here that the summary doesn't really get into, that Gordon and his gang are like, we're going to stop the bomb. We have to stop the bomb.
The civilians aren't told that it's a time bomb, though. They think it's the trigger man.
Got it. Right. Because there are we learn as like Gordon's kind of going. There are still people like holing up in their houses, which brings up a lot of questions. It's also funny watching this after like as I was living in a major city while a pandemic happened. That was like everyone like please stay home. The amount of like no. Zach, you're on mute.
I was going to say, there's people crossing that bridge right fucking away. Like, as soon as like, no one can cross, just fuck you. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want.
Can't tell me what to do.
It's like, if anybody crosses the bridge, we'll blow the city sky high. It's like, okay, I'll be on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. It just means I have to run.
Right.
Honestly, if this happened in New York, Bane would be killed within the first day.
Yes.
5 months later, Bruce escapes captivity and returns to Gotham. And it's explained about as well as the wiki does right there.
Yes. Deal with it.
This is one of those like famous fucking like what's referred to as a plot hole. This is one of those like how the fuck did he get back? How the fuck did he get back to Gotham? And I really can't express enough like it doesn't fucking bother me. He fucking figured it out. This is a long fucking movie. I believe you, it's not that interesting.
Do you need a deleted scene of him climbing on the bottom of the bridge? Fine. Here. Just write a tie-in comic about it.
Like, guys, it's a movie. It's fake. It's
also it's Batman. He does a lot of shit that he shouldn't be able to do. Okay, so the scene where he climbs out of the pit is one of the greatest pump-up scenes of all time. I'm just like, fuck yeah. It's like straight out of a Rocky movie. The music is so good. The Hans Zimmer.
Oh, the fucking Zim don't miss, man.
Oh man, that scene just gets me going, baby.
It's so I did not. I have not seen this movie nearly as many times as I did The Dark Knight, but I do remember the midnight showing was sold out, and so we went to the 3 a.m. show.
You madman!
It's and this was a couple of friends, and it was all like, we gotta go. Like not going wasn't an option. Like we had to see it as soon as possible. So it was like 3 a.m. We did it. And it's close to a 2.5 hour movie. So this is happening around the like 5:15 mark, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little before that. I know because it had all the previews. So about 5:15 in the morning, and just like, man, better than a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
I'm up.
I was gonna say they're sitting there going like, am I really seeing this, or is it like
yeah.
Though imagine going to the 3 a.m. and I had a great time. No regrets on that, especially because this was more than a decade ago. But time is passing. We're gonna die someday. But imagine seeing a 3 a.m. screening of a Batman movie and Batman doesn't show up for like 45 minutes.
And then he's gone for another hour.
In a pit prison in an ancient part of the world.
With a TV.
Yes. Batman returns in the nick of time to help Gordon and his gang as they're getting sent across the river. That scene fucking works on me without no reservations. Like, light it. And the fucking I'm just like, just fucking movies, baby. Movies are good.
Oh yeah, no. When Matthew Modine, his wife we haven't talked about Matthew Modine yet. His wife calls him into the kitchen, and he sees the bat signal, and the music kicks in, and then it cuts to Bane. Impossible. That was another like get out of the chair, like
Batman.
It's again to bring it's such a WWE moment where a WWE wrestler in the back, his friend is getting beat up by a chair, and he's about to run out and save him. He goes, "But play my music first."
I love a wrestling surprise entrance where clearly they have talked to the booth manager, like, make sure my entrance holy place.
Make sure the lights go and all the fireworks. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, just I want the whole thing.
He can wait. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
But this moment is I was going to bring up how it reminded me of wrestling. There's a famous wrestling fan quote around it kind of being officially acknowledged that this is fucking fake, guys. This is a TV show. And there's a famous fan just yelling like, it's still real to me. Yeah. That fucking logo going, I'm like, this is fucking real to me, damn it. Like,
and I also love that moment unabashedly, but if you take a step back into plot hole territory, not plot hole, but if you view it from a logical standpoint, the bomb is going to go out. The clock is ticking. Batman's like, you know what I need to do is to get some kerosene. So I need to set up this massive bat symbol on the bridge, and then undetected, and then I need to rig it so that Jim Gordon can light it up when he's about to be walked to his death.
You're gonna fucking love it.
He's gonna love it. It's a surprise for Jim.
Look, back in his prime, in Batman's prime, he could have done that in like 45 minutes. So like, how long could that possibly? Fucking hell! And so like, he's up there. It's like, it's gonna be so worth it. This is gonna be so fucking worth it. It's gonna be so fucking cool.
Not to mention the dude just broke his back like 3 months ago.
And then like re-broke it a couple times in prison too, falling. Forget how'd he get back in the city. How'd he rig that fucking thing up?
I love Batman.
But we've talked about it a handful of times, and it applies to this movie hard. The Alfred Hitchcock fridge door test. Pat, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or if I talked to you. I've told it to Zach 100 times. Basically, Alfred Hitchcock's logic was that if you watch a movie and you're like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, that movie ruled. Yeah. And then later that night, you're at the fridge door, you open it up and you're like, hey, wait, that moment didn't make sense? Too late. I got you.
I got it.
I got you. Right. Doesn't count. And that's one of those just like, if I'm sitting there in the theater go, fuck, good luck, Batman. You got me. Doesn't matter. You got away with it. You don't get points for on your 10th fucking viewing of it going like that don't make no sense.
For sure. I mean, this episode of this podcast could be a lot shorter if we just just agreed to that.
Which is what most people would probably prefer, but here we are. Fuck you, it's our show.
I'm with
it. So as Batman, he, with Kyle's help, frees the police, and together they clash with Bane's army in the streets. We got a couple things to cover over there. Catwoman has a great, I think, like, hey, let's fucking bounce.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Let's fucking bail, dude. You're hot. I'm hot. Let's go be hot. Not here.
And she's also like, hey, you've given every cent of your billions and your entire life to these idiot people. Like, you don't know them anymore.
Right.
And of course,
which is we're hitting the same thing out.
Not yet.
Which is the same beat Alfred was, but it's more of a like, I'll suck your dick. It's
I mean, you like got a helicopter, so like
But basically, but what we are doing here is setting up fucking Catwoman's badass fucking Han Solo moment.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's see. The Bane and the army of policemen set piece is so fucking dope. And I'm not, we joked about it earlier. I'm not super stoked about an army of cops coming down and being like, but
these are sewer cops.
They're these are the fucking bits. They've learned things about themselves. They're gonna change some things when things get back to order.
I also like Batman shows up with his bat helicopter thing and disables the tanks and then takes off. Like, you could just, the city's about to blow up, Batman. Just shoot all those fucking
just shoot Bane. How about you shoot Bane?
And then fucking land and go get that bomb.
Yeah.
Because he's never been beat physically before.
He's like, I need the rematch. I need the rematch.
Wrestling.
I'm going to blow up. All these people are going to blow up knowing that no one can beat my ass.
And it's so silly, but it works on me every time when the Matthew Modine character shows up in his dress uniform. Because, like, Gordon's like, I'm not asking you to go, march down Main Street with your dress uniform. And he does, and he, like, shows up at the last second to lead I'm like, yeah, go.
I am
There's
not
only one
immune.
police in this town.
I am not immune to fucking emotional manipulation and an army of good guys charging down to go fight the bad guys and meet in the middle and they just start fucking brawling. Dude, fucking, it's good as hell every time.
It is. Go ahead, Pat.
I was gonna say there has to be some point where it's one of the cops and one of Bane's guys are fighting, and then they see Batman and Bane start fighting. Like, oh, I guess that's the only one that actually matters. So, like,
yeah, right.
Like, hey, I kind of want to watch this.
Yeah, right. Can you just like,
what's us punching each other gonna do?
Yeah. Right. Actually, let's see who wins this, and then maybe reconfigure. Because actually, I'm on your team.
If you ever want to laugh, and also to kind of have it kind of ruined for you, watch this scene when Bane and Batman are fighting, and look at the cops and the guys fighting in the background. It's a whole bunch of guys like grabbing onto each other and just rocking back and forth. Basically, there's very little actual like fighting going on. It's amazing. It's like a video game.
A couple belly bumps.
Yeah.
I love this scene as you do. It has the worst line of dialogue, I think, in the whole series, which
Remind me.
Batman's comeback to Bane. When Bane goes, "You came back to die with your city," and Batman says, "No, I came back to stop you." I remember even on the first viewing when I'm on like this high. I'm just in my head. I was like, lame.
It's
lame. Just don't say anything, Batman.
I know Pat's seen it. Zach, I don't know if you have Netflix's I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robinson. There's the Munchie sketch. It's specifically one of the don't talk.
Can't talk.
Don't talk.
Oh my god!
It's like a little kid. Their older brother like gets a good zinger at him, and they're like, "No."
It's most of Batman's powers from his statuesque sort of like, not from witty comebacks. That's Spider-Man.
I came back to stop you. That's why I'm back. Not to die, idiot.
So during the battle, Batman overpowers Bane, but Tate stabs Batman in the abdomen, revealing herself as Talia al Ghul. What a shock!
Got me.
Before that
either-
moment, though, Brian, everyone in the theater shot their wad when Batman said, "Tell me where the trigger is, and then you have my permission to die."
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
got him. When Batman kicks Bane through the door, I'm just like, "Fuck yeah, fuck! That's what's up, Bane. That's what's up."
Batman and Bane, yeah, we were making fun of like the Batman's little comeback there, but like I'm in the theater, it's going on 6 a.m. and I'm having the time. I'd watch that fight for an hour. I'm just like, yes, yes.
And that's you mentioned it earlier too. Was that that Batman is this stoic guy, but in that moment he's not at all.
Right.
Where the fuck is the truth? Like, where the fuck we gotta go?
give me
Like,
this shit.
he's losing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's
And
real
just
good.
punching. Just
I love the. It's like go for the mask, Batman.
It's
He
so
finally is like, "Oh, this is a good idea. I should have been doing this in the beginning."
if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie, that's crazy. This was a very popular movie. This movie made a lot of money, but with our podcast, that kind of tends to be the case. And if you're listening to this and being like, they sound like they don't like the movie that much, it's like, no, you need to understand
Top
how
5.
good these scenes are.
five movie all
Any,
time.
like for me to be like, oh, the silly stuff and like all the cops, I don't give a fuck.
It's incredible.
Literally, all the cops could get buried beneath Gotham 3 more times, and I'd still be like, fuck, that seems dope as hell. So Talia al Ghul is Ra's al Ghul's child. Ra's al Ghul, of course, is Liam Neeson from Batman Begins. I will say, I noted there is not a ghost of Ra's al Ghul, but Liam Neeson does show up for a moment in Bruce Wayne's delirium in the pit. And they're like, "Are you going to destroy Gotham? I'm going to win this whole time." Liam Neeson declined to appear as a ghost in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
I thought it was a scheduling issue.
Maybe it was, but it certainly could have been. But that makes this whole note less interesting.
Ryan, did you know he appeared as Qui-Gon's ghost in the terrible Kenobi TV show?
Oh, I was happier before I knew that.
Yeah, he caved, baby. Oh, it's so bad, Brian. It's so fucking bad.
I was randomly looking through. I don't know how I ended up I don't know what I was looking for that I ended up back in our text chain, and I was like, yeah, no, I watched episode 1 and 2 of Kenobi. I don't like it, but I'm not as mad at it as I thought I was going to be. And you were like, I need you to watch episode 3. And I was like, okay, I will. I never did. Never did.
Wise decision. It just got worse. Okay. I this twist. The only thing I don't like about it is it makes Bane someone's bitch, which is funny because in both movie versions he was Poison Ivy's bitch in Batman and Robin. And he's kind of Talia's bitch in this one.
I'm open to being convinced otherwise, but I don't mind a sudden, like, when the monster shows vulnerability and like,
right. No, I don't mind that.
I don't hate it.
Right.
It seems undercooked.
Right. But he's a pawn. He's a pawn. He was used.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so the general gist here is that Bane helped. Talia al Ghul was born in that pit prison, made her way out with the help of Bane. They went to the League of Shadows, which is run by Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul rejected Bane for reasons
too extreme for the League of Shadows.
Because he talks funny.
We don't have a great dental plan for the League of Shadows. You look like you got what going on.
I do, and like honestly, Tom Hardy's like big ol' eyes just kind of work on me here, and like I think he plays the vulnerable, like suffering really well, and it's also revealed that like mask he's wearing is like injecting into it's in the comics. Bane is taking venom, and venom is a drug that is eventually like enhancing him physically. This is kind of a reversal on it that is interesting. It's a medicine that's just bringing his terrible pain to a manageable level.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I never caught that. I just thought it was like some breathing apparatus.
No, it's supposed to be injecting like a medicine.
Okay.
But I thought it made it so he doesn't feel pain. Like, so that's why when Batman's punching him and beating the shit out of him early in that first fight, he's just like, I don't care. Keep punching me.
Sure. I think I've read, I don't quote me on it, no gun to my head, but I think I read Nolan describing like, no, it brings his pain down to a barely manageable level.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But he's just so tough that like,
it looks cool. Just go next. I don't care.
It looks cool, and it's a cool version of a luchador mask. So,
just real quick plot logic question. Talia is not planning for Batman to come back. When they send him to the pit, their plan is for him to stay there and watch, on TV. Mm-hmm. Why is she still undercover for the 5 months? Why is she still playing this part?
A great question. Because there's still an hour left of the movie. But I do think that is and I don't even necessarily think it's a bad thing. Because once again, it really doesn't bother me that much. But I do think the script works in moments. And like everything else is how do we get to those moments? Like wrestling.
Right.
What was your thought there, Pat?
I was just thinking, could it be to keep like Morgan Freeman away from the reactor, or
maybe
that kind of? She still had to keep playing that. I mean,
the whole idea that they need to wait 5 months to take their revenge is like really silly.
It is.
But,
it is
for
like
sure.
It is like it's a nuclear bomb. You have control of Wayne Enterprises.
Yep.
Batman's gone. There's a trigger. Boom.
Do it. Yeah, exactly.
Just do it. Not condoning just blowing up an American city. Just want to be clear on that.
Just want you to know how easy it is.
Unable to activate the bomb's detonator, Gordon has a little side adventure where he has a little signal blocker. And there's a good little set piece where he climbs the truck. It's a good little action scene. Talia leaves to find the bomb. Catwoman returns. I'm trying to get my mouse over to my other screen so that I can...
Well, we get one of my favorite moments here. I've always wondered. So Batman shows up in his Batplane and is like launching missiles and stuff, and then it cuts to Morgan Freeman working on the reactor, and he's like, "Nothing like a little air superiority." What is he commenting on? Is he watching that on the reactor computer?
Right.
He just sensed it.
So Catwoman busts in on the Batpod. Bane basically is gonna like fucking kill Batman, right? Catwoman busts in on the Batpod, blasts Bane to shit, and we get a great line of, like, about the whole no guns thing. I don't think I feel as strongly about it as you do.
Yeah.
Huge reaction in my 3 a.m. screening. Really, really fun. Really like it. So Kyle returns, kills Bane, and helps Batman pursue Talia, hoping to bring the bomb back to the reactor chamber where it can be stabilized. Talia's truck crashes, but she remotely floods and destroys the reactor chamber before dying. Morgan Freeman has a perilous escape.
Oh, dear. Yeah, and then Talia floods the thing, and then tells them about it for like 5 straight minutes while they just stand there listening to her monologue.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Yeah. we can't take care of the bomb until she's fully dead.
So with no way to stop the detonation, Batman reveals his identity to Jim Gordon and use let's stop there. I love this scene. I love it. I love it.
So heartwarming. It's so heartwarming.
And like it's not great. I don't know if the script is doing the work here. I think Gary Oldman and Christian Bale are doing the work here.
Yes.
It's
great.
This movie does actually a lot of really good work to really tie into Batman Begins, creating really a trilogy. And we haven't really talked about this yet, but it's kind of amazing that Zach, we've talked about before, you know, the previous series of Batman movies, the previous Batman continuity went until it stopped making money. And we kind of thought this was going to do the same. And it was becoming clear here, like, we didn't know. They didn't advertise it as such. It was becoming clear, like, this is the end. We're going to end this now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like dawning on me as I'm watching this, like, oh, we're just coming towards an ending. We're just done. Which was kind of making me mad, but also now I'm so grateful.
Right.
It's
There's integrity behind it. Just like, you know, like I said, well, Breaking Bad is my favorite TV show of all time, and it was 5 seasons. I'm like, there's a story to it that has a clear ending, and they're not just trying to string it out for the money.
And there's a great quote from Nolan about his decision to do that in this movie, and he's like, comic books are a different medium. You can just go on and on forever, infinity. It's like movies, you can't do that,
right?
So we have to do a definitive ending. And you know, Marvel's like, no, we can go on and on forever. And no, Nolan was right, I think.
And so, you know, we've talked about Endgame, and like, it's impressive that Endgame is not a dumpster fire. The fact that Endgame is like a very watchable movie is very impressive. Is my stance. I had fun with it in a theater.
Same.
I've watched it again and it's not great, but it was very, very watchable. And
I'm done with all superhero movies that have come out after this one, so haven't seen it. But go ahead.
You ended on a high note. My man.
But Endgame felt like a real good off ramp.
Yes. Yeah.
And now they're like, keep watching these. I'm like, nah, you actually ended on a pretty okay note for these. I'm good.
Was called End the Game.
I mean, it's basically the Joey problem, right? Friends ends, great series finale, all your characters say goodbye, and they're like, no, but now you want to watch Joey, the show Joey.
Why wouldn't they think that would work? Frasier went 11 seasons.
That's true. That's true. I guess that's true. It does work sometimes. So they were like, we'll make it work.
It's not too distant of a parallel universe where this is a Joey podcast. Zach, we've both seen Joey all the way through, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're the two.
I've watched all the way through at least 2 or 3 times.
We're the two people. It's only 2 seasons.
Right.
Okay, but still.
And I liked Joey. I would, if there were more, I would have watched more. I'm
Honestly,
not saying it's good. I'm saying it was okay.
Joey is on par with most of today's sitcoms.
Okay.
If you saw that today now in the year of our Lord 2024, you'd be like, this is fine.
It's fine.
They made him better then.
Watchable. It's watchable. Okay, so I love the moment, but I do, like, from again a dorky logic, like jokey standpoint, Gordon's reaction of Bruce Wayne should really be like, oh, duh.
Yeah, right.
Duh. How did I not? Fuck.
There's a moment earlier. It didn't come up in the summary. Once again, the plotting of this movie is so fucking dense. Gordon is in the hospital for like a solid chunk of this movie, and Bruce Wayne like visits in. He's got a ski mask on, and like Gordon knows this is Batman. It's like Batman needs to come back. What if he doesn't exist anymore? Blah, 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 blah. But it's like he's in his fucking suit. Like, is Gordon at no point? It's like, I'm fucking Armani. Like,
Fucking nice suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
fucking-
can we look at the security tapes and see who was in the hospital this
Yeah,
day? Really?
But it
That's
never
looking fucking
mattered to
fly.
him. It never mattered to
Yeah,
him.
Yeah.
he didn't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yes.
It never mattered to him who he was.
But it did secretly at the end. He's like, I really want to know. Will you tell me, please, before you go? Will you tell me before you go die? Tell me.
Different before he's gonna like go fucking kill himself for the city.
No, I
True.
agree. I love it.
It's also I do laugh at the pants of the camera, like Bruce Wayne. Yeah, like we knew. Like, it's the
Yeah,
audience.
right.
He's like, see, I get it now too, guys.
It's
I would have
to your
been.
point, it's exactly right. It would have no impact to just be like, oh, Bruce Wayne.
Oh,
No, the moment there is like, hey, that moment we shared when I was a
Right.
young boy meant a lot to me.
Right,
We've had a
correct.
connection for a very long
Correct,
time
correct.
because it's a movie.
yes,
Drama.
yes.
Oh, I'm Bruce Wayne. It would be a
I would-
shitty way to end a movie.
For sure.
I would have
Who are
been.
you, Bruce
I would have.
Wayne?
I would have been very disappointed if they didn't get that moment. If Gordon
Yeah.
never
Yes.
found out, and
Yes.
I'm glad he did.
Okay, so Batman uses his aerial craft, the Bat, to haul the bomb over the bay where it safely explodes. Bringing it back to 1966, some days it's hard to get rid of a bomb. We see the atomic explosion over the bay, and I am in the theater like, they just fucking killed Batman. This bitch just fucking killed Batman. And I'm kind of like not mad about it, not like angry about it, but I'm like, I didn't see that coming. And
They cut away too early from him, though. I was like,
I was fully like, did they? I was on the fucking board. I was on the train. My mom is, so I had seen it when I saw it with my parents. Because I saw it probably 3 times in theaters, and one time was with my parents, and I had warned them before, like, Batman doesn't show up for 45 minutes. And they were like, "Oh God!" But my mom, who doesn't really give a shit about this stuff, just humored her sons on a lot of stuff, did grab me. Was like, "Is he fucking dead?" So in the
thought he was
aftermath,
There's no
It's a-
autopilot.
Yeah.
yeah,
It took me till like watch number 5 or 6 to realize he didn't actually die.
I was wondering if we were going to have that conversation. In the text, he's not dead.
Correct.
You've told me before, like, he's dead. It's all a fantasy
No,
land.
that's
Like,
all I was saying. Yeah.
in the text, he's not dead.
I saw just a video of Christian Bale talking about that. And he's like, I believe, with movies, it's whatever the audience thought, whatever you thought it was is what it was. He goes, but no, he didn't die.
Right. So in the aftermath, Batman is presumed dead and hailed as a hero. Wayne Manor becomes an orphanage, and Bruce's estate is left to Alfred. Gordon finds the bat signal repaired, while Lucius Fox discovers that Bruce had fixed the bat's malfunctioning autopilot. There's a scene there where, it's Morgan Freeman is standing as they're operating the bat, and he's like, I want that autopilot fixed. Are you planning to use this for war, Lucius? And the guys are like, it seems it's already been patched. It's already been fixed. Which there was a scene earlier where when we're introduced to the Bat Pod, Morgan Freeman was like, the autopilot doesn't work. Someone with a lot of free time on their hands should take a look at that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I never caught that.
It's it's set up. And then the 2 guys working on it were like, oh, the patch is Bruce Wayne. So Bruce had fixed the malfunctioning autopilot. In Florence, Italy, Alfred discovers that this puts it too plainly. We got a fantastic. It's so good. Zach, you're muted.
Before we get to that,
Yeah,
we got to talk about Robin John Blake.
that's how we end the movie. That's
right.
after.
No, yes, that moment is after, but the reveal of Robin
the
John Blake
reveal
is
is
The reveal of
before.
Robin John Blake. You are correct.
So Joe
Yeah, set it
Gordlev,
up.
Joe Gordlev is going to see if Bruce Wayne left him anything. I would too if I knew the motherfucker. And
Well, can't hurt.
Awfully present.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
the lady's like, "There's nothing under John Blake," and he's like, "Well, use my full name." And he gives her his ID, and she reads it, and she goes, "You should use your full name."
That's awfully
Thanks for your take.
presumptuous.
Yeah, thanks for your take, lady I just met, but fuck off. Mind your own business about my fucking name.
I don't like it.
Yeah. God. This is like the thing that Nolan almost never does in these movies, which is like wink, wink.
This is like the
Robin.
one. This is the
Yeah.
one, and you know what?
And it's a whiff.
You know, I
It's
was
a
watching
whiff.
this with my wife, and my wife went like, "Boo," and I'm okay with it. It's so.
No,
this
it's-
trilogy has been so restrained. Like,
It's harmless, but it's not Robin in the slightest. So it's just like
Correct. It's
You
just a
dorks
nod
want
to it.
makes
Robin,
me
right?
okay with it. Of
you
like,
dorks want Robin, right? Well, he's Robin. Okay.
Yeah. He's not Robin. It just acknowledges it. It doesn't. It doesn't bother me.
He was the guy who helped him the entire time.
Yeah.
Here's a little nod at
I'm
it.
all right with it. I was talking about my mom's reactions upon that line. My mom goes, "Oh, he's Robin!" Like, yeah, mom.
That's who it was
And
for. That's who that line was
Nolan
for.
was in the back of that theater while you were watching it, and he's like, "Yes, yes,
I got him.
got her, got her."
I fucking got her.
And I will say it's funny. And over Zach, we've talked about we'd love to see Robin get another crack at
Yeah.
live action. We'd love to see. He's such a major part of the Batman canon. We'd love to see it done and done well. We didn't talk about him at all in the last two episodes. Like, haven't missed him in these movies at all.
No, but I do think there's a world where if they wanted to do more in this series instead of just ending it with Rises, they could have done like 2 movies in the middle between The Dark Knight and Rises that were about him adopting a kid who was
Right.
Robin.
Right.
And it could have fit in this
Yeah.
world okay. Obviously, he just can't fight when he's actually a child in this world. That's just not.
Right.
He would
It's
be older.
If Reeves wants to do it, I think, and we can talk more about it when we do the Batman, I think a Robin would fit great.
Yes,
In that,
I hope he does.
in that
I hope he
universe,
does.
and I hope he does. I hope he does. I think it is. This movie does not touch it at all, but I think a key part of the Batman character, a key part of that story, is that he eventually becomes a father himself, or best buds with a dude, and it's not gay, but except it really is. I'd love to see it. Matt Reeves. I hope maybe it's on the table. So we cut to Florence, Italy. We see the same cafe from Alfred's little fantasy sequence. We see Alfred sitting at a table, and of course, across the way, we see Bruce. It's perfectly shot where Bale is in focus. Anne Hathaway's in the scene, like the table across from. She's a little blurred, a little out of focus. Bale is who Alfred is looking at in the perspective of that shot. And we just and the Zimmer score is drumming up, and
Yeah.
and Bale just gives the best little like, "I'm good, you good?" nod. And
It's so good.
it's so fucking good. It's so
But you better.
incredible.
I mean, after the camera stops running, you better go over there and buy him a fucking drink and sit with him and have a conversation.
He gets out and he
Sorry,
goes. He goes.
Sorry I put you through all that, father figure.
Yeah, right.
I love the actual reality of Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle. He's just dragging her to the same cafe every day for 3 months.
He's gonna show up here. He's gonna show up.
It's gonna be so fucking heartwarming though when he finally shows up.
When he fucking does, it's gonna blow his fucking mind.
Or they're going to every cafe in Florence because he never knew exactly which one he was at. They're just like
right. It's so this is another little moment that comes up from joyless versions. We'll be like, how do they end up? Oh, it's just in Paris. They ended up at the same fucking cafe. It's a movie and it's nice.
also,
it's just a nice way to leave the characters.
The guy was Batman. If he wanted to track Alfred to a cafe,
he would have figured it out.
He could do it. Yeah.
But also, it's just nice. God. It's okay to feel something, you fucking jabroni.
Why are all these people so worried with Batman's travel plans?
Yeah.
He can figure it out. He's a grown-up with a credit card.
Right. But it's amazing here that Nolan, I think, dared to give Batman a happy ending.
Yeah.
He hasn't had it in the comics yet. He's still fucking going. You know?
No.
Yeah,
I do. It's good.
He has not just an ending, a happy ending. That's incredible. Yeah. And that's this. So there are 3 Batman movies you can watch in a day of like, I want to watch the fucking Batman movies. And you can get a fucking beginning, a middle, and an end in a trilogy. Yep. It's
glorious. It's glorious.
And I think people misunderstood willfully the next bit, the final shot of it, which is, of course, Blake, whose legal first name is revealed as Robin, resigns from the GCPD and receives a package leading him to the Batcave. So we see him around the cave, going through the waterfall into the Batcave, and we see him stepping into the little lake there as the platform beneath him rises, like in the title of the movie, and then boom, we get the title of the movie. And like, no, that's not setting up a Batman 4. It's just what Bruce worked for to make Batman a symbol lives on. Someone will take up the mantle and no, there's no Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's not Batman now. No, I mean, it's been 10 years. Yeah, no, obviously. But
no, but I never for a second thought that was the case. And when people did, I was like, you don't understand how this works. You're an idiot.
Right. It's like, no, Bruce succeeded. The symbol he wanted to create lived on.
Yeah.
Good fucking movie. Great fucking movie.
Oh, I love
great trilogy, great movies. Just lovely.
3 bangers. All 3 are good, man.
Yep. And I've said really a lot of times going over this episode of saying like, yeah, it's a Batman movie. It's supposed to be. But again, I think Brian, me and you have talked about this before. It was like, they're just good movies that happen to have Batman in it.
Right. I do think Nolan wanted to just make a good movie.
Right.
No, they can be enjoyed by non-Batman fans, which is
for sure.
What you want. Which is not something you can say for the movie we will be covering next week.
Best of luck.
So obviously this movie did very well. Box office wise, made a lot of money. Nolan would go on to produce Man of Steel, which was maybe a bad. This trilogy maybe created a lot of bad habits. Exemplified. People took the wrong lessons from this trilogy. What if everyone was like, what if they were serious? Not if what did you just make 3 dope movies? and that told just like a good story over our three individual movies. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises are very different movies, and wasn't a pre-planned out thing. Every movie was taken as it's okay, we'll do another one after that, but this is the last one and we're going to end it here. It wasn't built to be a franchise in the same way that we know now of like, we're just going to keep doing this in perpetuity. I meant to bring this up earlier. The creators of the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original animated series, have talked about how that show is 3 seasons, and it is a perfect trilogy. The 3 seasons of that show, and they've talked about like how like why did you only do 3? Why didn't you ride out your very successful cartoon? And they talked about how. Imagine someone sits you down and says, I'm going to tell you the greatest story ever told. Also, it has no ending. I don't want to hear that story. An end is an important part of it.
Yes.
And it's one thing if it's really, truly James Bondian, right? Of just like another adventure of a character. Every movie is pretty self-contained. That's one thing. But like, man, it's a really special thing when you have, it can be a lazy Sunday every couple of years. It's a lazy Sunday. Like, I'm going to make chili. Let's watch the 3 Batman movies. And that's a really fucking special day every now and again. When you fucking need, and the Lord of the Rings has that, you know, they're a handful, but not a lot. There's not a lot. And they're really special.
This original Star Wars trilogy used to be that for me. They would play it on Christmas and stuff. And that was a great beginning, middle, and end. And now, of course, it's blown up, and you can still enjoy it that way if you want.
You can still enjoy the first 3 on their own, and in fact, probably should.
But I think the way you said it there, though, Brian, I think is that really tells the story of this trilogy of let's watch the Batman movies. And you know which ones you're talking about.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, in the previous 4, there's 2 bangers in there. 2 bangers, one pretty good one and a fun bad one. We've had no slogs so far. I don't think. Zach is nodding.
Yet.
No,
not yet.
The not as good one is coming up. The not as good, but we're gonna end on a good note. We're kind of back on an uptrend. The Matt Reeves one, the latest one, the Batman, I would say is very good. Is one of my favorites in the whole franchise. Any other final thoughts on The Dark Knight Rises? The Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher Nolan, because we're leaving this station. This is it. This has been a fun couple of weeks.
Pat,
thumbs up all around. Love it. Again, just favorite movie period. Not a comic book guy, not a superhero movie guy. Just love this movie, and
yes.
I've had 6 beers while sitting here, so that's what I got.
Yes, the best way to enjoy these movies is to embrace the silliness of it all, and don't be embarrassed.
They're not a bug.
Don't be embarrassed. It's meant to be that way. And fucking love these movies. Great.
Agreed on all counts. Thank you everybody for listening to the Talon Mix. We'll be back next week with Batman versus Superman. Oh god. Hey, if you enjoy this show and you want to be the most like Batman, if you were like, man, if only there was something I can do to help the little guy, rate and review this podcast on your podcast.
Batman would.
Choice.
Batman would do it.
Batman would do it. We guilt tripped people 3 times last episode, and we did see a couple. Not all of you. I know how many of you listen to this every week, and our fucking ratings and reviews do not reflect that. So if you want to be Robin tier, give us a star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you want to be Batman tier, leave a review. So that's all I'm gonna say. It doesn't even have to be nice. Just leave the review. You can be like, I don't like this show I listen to every week.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
But that's so. Let's see. There's a link in the description. That also leads us to our Patreon. If you're inclined, it does help us pay for some of the stuff that we pay for to make this show happen every week. We do, of course, don't expect it, but we do try to get bonus episodes out. It's been a while. Well, we're overdue, Zach. We're gonna make something new.
Yes.
There's a lot of Batman content we can get up on there that doesn't fit in the main series. And that also will help with some future projects that we are very excited about. So to close out, Patrick, we ask this of every guest on the show. Do you have a question for Batman? Spoiler alert, the answer will be, I'm Batman.
Who is Batman?
Oh, God, I can't believe no one's done that one yet. That's great.